Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello and welcome to Fearless Generations 12 Steps to Freedom. This is Kelly Fox, and tonight we are wrapping up Step 12 with integration as well as reflection, because tonight is the last night of this session or season of going through the 12 Steps to Freedom, but it also is the last night of our 10th year and the last night we are doing the podcast. So it is a momentous night for all of those reasons, and we have been very honored to do this podcast with you for the last 10 years, and we feel very blessed to have been able to get on the podcast with to share this information and all of these tools and all of these amazing guest coaches with you, and we just loved every moment of it. So let me welcome my beautiful co-host one more time. Welcome, Terry Sayer. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. You sound a little far away.
I do?
Yes.
They use bait as a shield in order to run that operation.
More than $100.
Do I sound any better now?
Yeah, that sounds better.
All right.
Yeah, I want to agree with you on how time has flown by. It doesn't seem like it's been 10 years that we've been doing this, but I guess it has been.
Yep. It has been. So let's first talk about Step 12, love, and bringing that all together and wrapping that up for the month.
Yeah, it's been really fun to talk about love this month, and we've talked about a lot of different aspects: self-love, love of others, love of nature. We've talked about a lot of different kinds of love, haven't we? But it all starts with self-love.
Yes.
Are you there? There you are.
Yeah. As with everything fearless living, everything starts with ourselves, and we have to love ourselves before anything else.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how, love is actually the universal language, right, that brings hope and peace and joy. And it's a feeling, it's an action, it's an adjective, it's an adverb, it's so many meanings of the word love. And I think that it's very interesting to think about how love shows up in our thoughts, in our words, in our feelings, in our actions. And we talked about, for me, I've heard people say, well, this is my essence, this is my aura, this is who I am. And for me, I really want my essence to be love. I want to be able to, give love. Like I walk in a room and people think, oh, what that person, is loving or whatever. I want to be able to be that person that can give and receive love with ease. And I think that it's to me, I talk a lot about my higher power, and I really am grateful for God's love and for His creation and for my being and my soul. I just really that's something that soothes me, that calms me, that gives me hope and joy. So we talked about that, the love of our higher power, the love of choosing to love others and to, follow loving God, loving our neighbors, and loving ourselves. So we talked a lot about that as we went through the month of love as well. So I think there's so many things that we talked about, and really one of my favorite things to talk about. And I feel like when we negate loving ourselves and we beat ourselves up, and then we, as a mom or as a partner, as a employee or an employer, we want to love the others in our lives. We kind of do that out of a duty rather than out of a really heartfelt desire to love. I think once I realized that denying myself compassion and love was really what kept me from authentically loving others around me, my family, my coworkers, my church friends, my acquaintances. It was because I was always concerned about showing up as someone that was perfect, that always did everything right, and worked really hard, was a workaholic because I needed to do that perfect as well, until I just stopped all of that and realized that what would bring me happiness would be, loving myself, having compassion for myself, being kind to myself, giving myself a break, and learning to truly love God's creation of me. And then really it changed the whole outlook that I had towards others. And when I started to love from that place of that space of self-love, of peace, that it was I got a totally different reaction, and I had a totally different feeling and mindset when I was loving from that space of overflow.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I guess
definitely.
that's one of my big takeaways in the last 12 years of studying self-love.
Yeah. Yeah, last week we talked about seeing innocence, and we've talked about boundaries, and we've talked about kindness and all these things this month. And I think that, the better we take care of ourselves, the better we can take care of others. And so if you won't do it for yourself, do it for those around you. You have to take care of yourself to be able to take care of them. And I just think, I have this friend that I talk with, and she has a hard time loving herself, and she puts herself down a lot. And it's really sad for me because everything she wants would come to her if she would love herself and take care of herself. But it's like the one thing that she just won't do. And but it reminds me that I need to take care of myself. And when I hear myself speaking mean to myself, I need to stop that, and be more kind and see my innocence and, give myself a break and not expect so much of myself or those around me. And so I learn a lot from her. She thinks I don't, but I do. And I appreciate everything that I get from others, because I feel like that's one thing that I've been able to do in my life in some areas is learn from others, and so that I don't have to take that road myself. I can observe someone else and learn that lesson. And so I remind myself of that on a regular basis. Though my daughter tells me that I'm still too mean to myself, but I'm getting better. So I think that loving ourselves is so important to be able to do all of those things that we want to do, to live the life that we want to live, to be able to own our voice and own our space and speak up and be passionate. All of those come from loving ourselves.
Yeah.
So, So when you think about this last season, these 12 steps this time around, is there anything that stands out
Well, what impresses me the most about being able to do this over and over for 10 years is that the steps become more embedded and natural and really internalized to the point where I can pull them up easily, and I can utilize them with the skills and strategies that we've taught over the years, and they've just become easier for me to, I guess, to recognize, be aware of how these different principles, these different steps impact my life and thus impact the lives of those in my sphere of influence. And it's just every time we talk about one of the steps, it's we've talked about it before. I've done it on Terry Talks. We've done workshops around it. It just becomes, oh yeah, I know that step because I can recall the times that I've practiced that step and how it's become more natural, and it's really become a part of me, and how grateful I am for that. And I think repetition is one of the best ways to really go deep and learn these steps, these principles, these concepts. And so by doing them multiple times in multiple ways, they have just become part of my past, part of my journey. So when I'm frustrated and I realize that I have an expectation, I can think about surrendering, and I can surrender that what I don't have control of. And so it's the ability to say, I control this, I don't have control over that, so I'm just going to surrender that to God, or I'm just going to let that go, and practice the steps of compassion, the steps of willingness, connection, all 12 of the steps. When I'm in a situation where I'm making a choice and I've come to a decision and perhaps I'm complaining, I can right away have gratitude and I can be thankful for it. If I'm beating myself up, I can, acknowledge myself, and I can be loving to myself and have compassion for myself. And so I think of the steps when I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. How willing am I to do that? And so then willingness comes in. And when I write my daily intentions, I always start out, today I'm willing to practice. I'm willing to practice. And sometimes when it's a challenge that's maybe a little deeper, I'll just say, I'm willing to practice. I'm willing to do it. And I might say it 10 times. I'm willing to be willing. It's just the steps become an anecdote to the expectations, to the challenges, to the opportunities that come to us, where we have a choice on how we're going to respond. And by using the 12 steps, you can respond in a way that's proactive and that helps you to move on your journey in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I definitely have the 12 steps in my bones, as Rhonda says. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this podcast now for 10 years, and we teach this content all month long on our social media and Terry Talks and our newsletters. We totally give as much as we can so that you can really embody these steps as well, that you can really get these tools that we're sharing as well, so that you can get it in your bones and it can be a part of you. And if you ever feel like you need to hear us, there's plenty of podcasts to go back and listen to. So don't fret. We've got you still with that. But I think that sharing these tools has enabled me to embody them more, and has made it possible for me to live them more fully, especially because the next year around I'm going deeper, and then the next year I'm going deeper, and I've gained I don't know if testimony is the right word, but I've gained a testimony around these steps and the power that they have when you use them. and you practice them, and you tools and the strategies that we've been sharing, your life will change. And not only are we giving you all of the goodness that we've got, but we've had so many amazing guest coaches on over the last 10 years that there is just a unlimited supply of goodness for you to get by listening to these podcasts. We have met so many amazing people and featured so many amazing people on the show. It just is crazy to me sometimes to think of how many guests we've had on the show, and some of them have come back over and over again, some just one time, but they've all have given of their passion and shared their purpose with us. And
true, we've learned a lot from coaches of different disciplines that have shared their passions with us, and we've taken advantage of their offers, and many of them we've joined their networks, and we continue to learn from each other. So it's a very reciprocal win-win relationship that we have with many of the coaches that have been on our podcast.
Absolutely. We bring the best. Yeah. As we go forward, though, we are still excited to be here for you. We're just going to be here for you in a different way. We are working now with a group called the Chronically Healthy Collective, and there will be a podcast every week on Tuesdays now, and there will be a monthly newsletter that has information from all of the coaches in the collective. So there's 11 other coaches as well as us in the collective, and they all speak to different modalities, and so you'll get even more from Fearless Generations and the collaborations that we are putting together. So keep your eye out for that. It should be coming soon, the newsletter, and the podcast actually starts tomorrow. So make sure you keep your eye out on the Facebook, in the Facebook group. We'll be sharing that so that you can go and listen to it. Really amazing coaches that we're collaborating with, and we're excited to give you even more than we have before. And that is, we're moving at this time. We're also going to be doing 3 live events next year. So if you are willing to come on over to California, or one of our events is in Canada, we are excited to be back in person. So our first in-person event will be February 8th and 9th in Tulare, tiny little town in California in the middle of the San Joaquin Valley. But we can get you all that information. Just contact us. It's on the website as well, fearlessgenerations.org. And we are doing Fearless Loving, which is an amazing workshop, 2-day workshop, where Terry and I will be sharing the Fearless Loving, the second book by Rhonda Britton, is what the workshop is based off of. And it's all about really learning about how you love, how you want to be loved, and creating an atmosphere of love around you. And then in May, we'll be in Canada doing a Pathway of Change, which is the 12 Steps to Freedom, which we're super excited about. I think it's the 24th and the 25th. I could be wrong, but we're going to be doing that in a city right above Vancouver. There's more details about that on the website. And our next retreat, we will be doing September 18th to the 21st in Laguna Beach, and we're super excited about it. It's very limited spots, so if you're interested, please go check it out. or contact us on Facebook or email kelly@fearlessgenerations.org or through the website. And we are going to be doing the workshop Change Your Life, which is based off Rhonda's book, Change Your Life in 30 Days. And it is an awesome workshop as well. But we're also going to be doing a lot of all-inclusive events. So lots of great stuff there. Go check it out on the website as well. So we still are here. We're still going to be giving you all we've got. We're just going to be doing it in different ways. So we don't want you to be concerned that we're leaving. It's just going to be a little bit different. Terry?
Yeah, we're excited about that because I'll still be doing Terry Talks, so you can still hear those on a regular basis, 5 days a week. Still continue to be on the 12 Steps of Freedom. And then I'm excited about our workshop. We just finished up our first retreat probably a month ago now, and it was so much fun and life-changing. We were looking through the evaluations today, just reading through them, and people, just were testifying that their lives had changed, that they could see things in a different way, and they just felt more confident, more clear, had more clarity around their purpose and their goals. And it was fun, and it was very just a deep commitment on the part of the participants to go deep into what was blocking them from moving forward, and then taking the 12 steps and really, how can I use that? What can I do differently in order to get where I want to get, to be able to stay on my journey and not get trapped and blocked by the things I think, the things I say, and how I act. And it was just very fine to us as the facilitators to see that people articulated that they really had a transformative experience and they had fun. And it was really nice. We were in the mountains, and it was a lovely venue, and we just pampered them, and they loved it.
Yeah, and we're excited to do it again.
Yeah,
we love being in person. It's so much fun. The retreat was our first time being back in person since the pandemic, and so we were super excited to do that, and it was very rewarding all around. And so we decided we're going to do it again, and this time at the beach. So please go check that out. It's going to be amazing. And we're just getting more and more ideas of how we can make it even better as time goes on. So by next year, it's going to even be more amazing when it's all solidified.
For sure. Well, I just want to thank Kelly for all that she has done to keep this podcast working. She's the one behind the scenes. She does all of the setup. She does all of the work to be sure that we have the coaches. I just kind of have showed up and supported her and shared my insights and thoughts around the 12 steps. So I want to thank her for her mega value and how she's really pulled this together over the last 10 years. And I believe that it's been a great opportunity for me personally to grow, to meet new people, to be able to share, the things that are meaningful to me as far as a fearless living coach.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've loved doing the podcast. It started off being my touch point once a week with the work, and then as I became more and more involved in coaching and working with Terry and doing workshops as Fearless Generations, it became so much more than I ever thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a podcast that we did for a little while, and now 10 years later and all that we've done, it's just, it blows my mind sometimes when I think about it. So it's been an honor to be a part of it and to meet the amazing people we've brought together and collaborated. with here, and to just have this once a month once a week access to speak about the steps and to share my love for them, and to be able to be here with Terry and to have time to talk things out. We definitely have learned a lot of things over the 10 years from each other, from our guest coaches, and just from practicing and doing what we tell all of you to do. We've grown for sure. And so it's definitely been a great adventure. And we're not saying we won't come back and do it again, but for at least the next year, we will be doing the other podcasts that I was telling you about with Chronically Healthy Collective. So do check that out. The other coaches that we are in the collective with are amazing, and they will support you and get you moving through your fear, just as we have all these past years. So do check that out. It starts tomorrow, so keep your eyes out for it. But we wanna definitely thank you for being here with us each week, and we want to remind you that the 12 Steps to Freedom were created by Rhonda Britton, the CEO and founder of the Fearless Living Institute. If you would like to know more about Fearless Living, go check it out at fearlessliving.org. You can always find out everything that's going on with Terry and I at fearlessgenerations.org, as well as all the events that I previously shared with you. Also, you can send us an email or message us on social media. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram as Fearless Generations. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you and support you in any way that we can. But we're not gonna be here next week, so it's kind of strange. I got to turn my alarm off to remind me to get on my computer and get everything ready. But we appreciate all the time you spent with us, and we encourage you to keep listening to past episodes. Check out the YouTube channel. There's 2 seasons on there. And then you can, of course, all the other different places that the podcast is, you can listen to all 10 years. So thank you for being here with us. And thank you, Terry. Until we see you, whenever that is,
be fearless. Good night.
Good night.
Experts agree Prop 33 will make the housing crisis worse, reducing new affordable housing and empowering wealthy opponents to block new homes. Plus, 33 repeals laws protecting low-income tenants from huge rent increases. California needs more housing, not less. No on Prop 33. Ad paid for by No on 33, Californians for Responsible Housing, a bipartisan coalition of affordable housing advocates, taxpayers, veterans, and small businesses. Sponsored by the California Apartment Association, Ad Committee's top funder, California Apartment Association.